Hello there. Welcome to part 2 of this little series where I'm taking a map and showing you how I take it from nothing to a finished product. This is actually kind of fun, not knowing where I'm going to be taking this map and talking it through. Now I think in the last session I suggested that this was going to be called building blocks. And that's pretty true, but it's also building blocks and some technicalities. So I'll just finish writing that. Yes, building blocks and some technicalities. And what do I mean by technicalities? Well, when you're starting a project, you need to know what you're doing. Are you drawing it by hand or using a computer program, the DPI and things like that? So let's start with that. I'm using a program. Let's write this on a new layer. I'm using a program called Clip Studio Paint. And I think I have the EX version. Yes, I do. And I really like this program. I really like how the pen draws in it. I like coloring with it. So I use it for the majority of my maps when I'm doing a map on the computer. Almost for sure, I'm going to use something like CorelDRAW or Illustrator for the text portion of this map. That's one thing with Clip Studio Paint I'm not at least familiar with. I don't think it does things with text quite as well as other ones, so I'll jump over to those for that part and then we'll bring them back into Clip Studio Paint to do the finishing touches. Some other technicalities. Let's take a look at, we can go down to crop marks to find this information. So I'm making a map at 8.5 by 11. That's the size. It's got a bleed that makes it go out to 9 and 11.5. And I'm also drawing at 600 dpi. I draw almost everything at 600 dpi. That way I can enlarge it if I need to. The other thing I like doing is I like turning on those crop marks just to see where the page is. So this is actually the page edge here. It's important to have that bleed there so I can make this spread go to the full width of the page if I need to. So those are some of the technicalities. 600 dpi. I'll just write that out. 600 dpi. This is the software I use. And for this project, it's 8.5 by 11 with 0.25 inch bleed. If you don't plan out some of this stuff, you can't really change it very easily afterwards. So it's really important to have those technicalities sorted. Okay, as far as the building block side of it, what's going to be on this map? Well, I'll just sketch it a little bit, and in the next video I'll go in more details with this. I know from that world building that I was talking about that this map is going to have islands on it, a series of islands. Might look something like this, that's my feeling. So islands is one of those building blocks. I also know there's going to be ice in this. I don't know quite where it's going to run yet, but maybe something like this. Maybe it'll be further north, I'm not sure. We'll get to that. I know there's going to be ice. There's going to be some forests. So that's another one of the building blocks. Below, probably this continent or whatever, this bigger island down here will probably have the most. Cities, for sure, have cities on it. Again, that's something I'll decide as I'm drawing it. And anything else? Yep, river. I'll probably have a river flowing that way, something like that. And anything else? Probably mountains. I'm not sure. I don't have to plan these out as much as I do if this were, say, a large continent where you want to make it look like those mountains make sense with mountain chains. So I might have mountains in a variety of different spots. But those are sort of the things that I'm thinking about. These are the main elements that are going to be on the map. I'm also thinking about having some surround elements on this map. So what are the surround elements? The surround elements are things like a border. I know I'm going to have a border on this map. I don't draw borders all that much, to be frank, but I do like them every once in a while. You can see here, this is the page size, right? It goes along here. You don't want anything right next to it, so you probably are working within around like this. And then if you had a border, depending where that border is, the border might be like this. It's really important to know this sort of information because now you can see, well, I've actually lost this much of the page. I've got to keep all that important information within it. I know I want a title on this map, probably be anchored in the top up here. Do I want a legend? Probably is not necessary, but I think I might draw a compass, probably compass rose in the bottom somewhere, probably around here. Those are the building blocks. The last thing I want to think about just a tiny bit at this point before I really get into it is the color scheme. Let's put this on another layer. Generally water looks pretty good in a bluish tone. I'm going to do something like this, maybe make it a little cold looking. Right, so let's draw that over here. The land, what I want to do is, I'm not going to go necessarily completely complement, but I'll go over to the side, maybe some green. Let's see how that looks. That might actually look all right together. Again, these are details are fairly important to think about early on. You can come up with them later, but you want to have a little bit of a planned chaos. When I learned how to do watercolor, one of my instructors said, you want the water to do what it can do, but you kind of want to plan it. So there's a planned chaos side of things. And I typically have an outline around everything. And I think for this map, I'm not going to go black, but I'm going to go something like that. And looking at this, that looks not too bad. I think I can work with that. You know, stay within those color schemes. And I can vary it a little bit, but I know at least where I think I want to go. And that's pretty much it. That's the building blocks with some technicalities. Just want to say that this is fairly exciting not knowing where this map's going and doing this process. So I can't wait to the next video to start working on the land. Okay, see you later.